I'm Andrea Turner. I served as a construction liaison throughout the construction phase of the project. This happened to be the third Cogdell Spencer Erdman project that I had worked on. I was recruited to Woodlands Medical Specialist as an imaging services administrator because I actually had been involved with two prior projects for multi-specialty private practice physicians groups who had built a Cogdell Spencer Erdman building. Spartanburg, South Carolina, North Grove Medical Park, and one in Greenwood, South Carolina, which was Piedmont Health Group's Tower Point Medical Center. Both beautiful buildings and both very positive construction processes and design processes. So same type of business model in that multi-specialty private practice that built their own new imaging center inside a new multi-specialty building. So I had a little bit of construction experience and also with this firm in that regard. So the physicians brought me on a year early to help with the construction phase of the project just because of that experience. All of the modalities individually have different regulatory requirements. First of all, because we have radiation-producing machines, because we have radioactive materials, for instance, in PET and nuclear medicine modalities. So each of those areas have different regulatory requirements, both on a state level and then sometimes on a national level. So that's another reason for coming in as an imaging administrator before a facility actually opens, because there's lots of regulatory requirements and applications for medical licenses that you have to, radioactive materials license, for instance, that you have to apply for and receive. One portion of our particular construction project that was so important was that our team at Cogdell Spencer Erdman actually owned the process of managing the requirements of the imaging center and regulatory requirements and the things that were necessary, the pieces that were necessary to be into place before we could have equipment ship or begin with patients. Things like radioactive materials license and such. And Cogdell Spencer Erdman was instrumental in getting all the players at the table, the vendors and administration and specific subcontractors that affected that part of the project, and got us all in one place and said, okay, if we need to start on this date, what all does it take to get there? And Cogdell Spencer Erdman owned that process for us, and it was a vital part of the process, and it made our construction much more successful and smooth. The Woodlands Center for Specialized Medicine is actually the first synergy project for Cogdell Spencer Erdman, and as such, the company has been involved with Woodlands from the beginning, the design process and the building process. The same people that are here with us now have been involved with us to some extent throughout the entire process. So it actually is quite comforting now that we're in this building that we love so much, to be able to look at people that we know are owners with us and that are invested in this building with us and in its success and in its continued beauty and upkeep. And it's very convenient to be able to address people that again have the same level of ownership and commitment that we do to keeping it as fantastic as it is today. So it's nice from the management side to be able to ask that one person to help you with something in the building and to know that they have as much invested in making sure it's right as we do. Well, one thing that I think that's special about the design of the Woodlands Imaging Center in particular is that it's not only designed to be aesthetically pleasing for our patients, but it is also, from an administrator's perspective, designed for efficiency. We have shared control areas between modalities that are very closely connected. For instance, PET-CT and CT. These teams work together on patients. They work together on radiation oncology simulations, and being housed together in a large, spacious, but very efficient control area helps. We also have technologist work areas spaced throughout our imaging centers so that technologists are able to stay close to their modalities, We have subwaiting areas for patients so that patients are able to be staged, taken out of the main waiting room, pulled back into subwait areas so then they are close to the modality where they'll be imaged. The technologist comes out to retrieve that patient and they don't have to go far. They don't have to walk all the way to the front of a large facility to retrieve a patient. So time-wise, those moments when you add them up at the end of the day make a big difference in efficiency. And I think that that's a big part of the smartness of the design here, and it makes a big difference in our efficiency at the end of the day. Our finished product here, and the finished product of Cogdell Spencer Erdman, is a building that did exactly what our physicians intended for it to do, and that was to create a different environment, an environment that's not typical in healthcare, that's warm and inviting and comforting and spacious. We've created more than just a building here. It's a feeling, it's an atmosphere, it's an environment. It's infectious in a good way for our patients. They enjoy being here, and frankly, it's created a different type work environment for employees. It's a fun, healthy atmosphere. It's a beautiful building. It's hard to come in and work all day and not feel good about what you're doing, and that shows to our patients. And that's part of what we want to do. That's part of the original intention, and I think that we've all, both Woodlands and Cogdell Spencer Erdman, have done a good job in making that happen. In imaging, for instance, I have vendors that are in and out all of the time that see other imaging centers, imaging departments in large facilities and private imaging departments of all shapes and sizes, and they're all very impressed. That's a big source of pride for us here at Woodlands, because it's not easy to impress people that travel all over the country and see show sites for General Electric or just really nice new facilities. But this seems very impressive to all of the vendors that come, and they talk about what we've done here and what we've done for patients and what we've done for employees. And again, I think we've really succeeded in creating an environment that's different and impressive. We've tried to design everything, the building and our processes and the people that we chose to employ with patients in mind. And with that big umbrella philosophy that it's all about the patient and how they feel when they leave, both by the building and by the interactions with everybody here, is what's going to make an impression. And I think that we're doing that every day. Both with the environment that we've put forth in a beautiful building and in customer-oriented employees. Patients are impressed with it, and they're comforted by it at what may be a very difficult time in their life. And I think that that's worth being proud of. I've always found the team at Cogdell Spencer Erdman to be very proactive and very involved with customers during the construction process in all three of the projects that I've been involved in. Our project executive, Gary Tree, was instrumental in pulling in all of the major players with regards to the first floor and all of the services that were there and all the different modalities, and got all the vendors and subcontractors and administration and brought us all to the table. And the way that we backed into timelines a year in advance and then met every one of those timelines in the end was remarkable. I have held it up as an example to other vendors, and just I've had our own vendors come back and say, we've never been through a construction project like this. It was so well coordinated, and I think that that's impressive.